I had 3 shots to leave Los Angeles by long-distance train. Up the coast to the Pacific Northwest, across the desert to the Midwest, or all the way to the Deep South. One ride felt legendary. The others didn't. Today I'm putting the Coast Starlight, the Southwest Chief, and the Sunset Limited into a head-to-head showdown to find out which route actually deserves your time, money, and vacation days. I'm keen on the rails, and this is the Los Angeles long-distance showdown. Coast versus desert versus Deep South. Let's meet the contenders. First up, the Coast Starlight. This is LA's legendary coastal train. You leave Los Angeles, hug the Pacific shoreline with ocean on one side and cliffs on the other, then climb through forests and mountains as you head toward Northern California and the Pacific Northwest. It's a 1 to 2 night trip, depending on how far you go, and it's famous for being one of the most beautiful routes in the country. Second, the Southwest Chief. Point this one inland and you're heading through Southern California, the desert Southwest, and the high plains toward Chicago. Think red rock, mesas, big skies, and classic Route 66 country. It's a cross-desert, cross-plains journey that feels like the old Great American Railroad story. Third, the Sunset Limited. This is your long desert run to the Deep South. You roll east out of LA through the desert, track near the Mexican border, pass through Texas cities and wide-open spaces, and eventually finish in New Orleans. It's one of the more demanding long-distance routes in terms of time, but it connects wildly different landscapes and cultures. So, from one station in Los Angeles, you can aim yourself up the coast, across the desert, or straight into the Deep South. Let's put them in the ring. Round 1, Scenery. Round 1 is all about scenery. The Coast Starlight is your ocean and mountains showcase. You get long stretches of Pacific coastline where the train is practically on the beach, then forests, rivers, and Cascades further north. If you picture most scenic train from LA, this is probably the mental image. The Southwest Chief is all about the American Southwest and high plains. You've got desert vistas, rock formations, big empty horizons, and that feeling of threading through remote, sun-baked country. It's less water, more sky, and perfect if you're drawn to that classic Southwest aesthetic. The Sunset Limited gives you extended desert and borderlands, followed by Texas, then a gradual slide toward the Gulf and the Deep South. It's a long, evolving landscape, dry and stark at first, then greener and more humid as you approach New Orleans. So who takes the scenery round? If you want the highest wow factor in the shortest time, I have to give this round to the Coast Starlight. Ocean, cliffs, and mountains all in one train ride is very hard to beat. But if your heart belongs to red rock and desert, the Southwest Chief is going to feel like your personal champion. Round 2, Onboard Experience. Round 2, what is it actually like to live on each of these trains out of LA? The Coast Starlight feels like a floating lounge with a view. You get big scenery windows, long stretches of coastline and forest to stare at, and enough time on board to settle into a rhythm without being gone forever. If you love observation cars, this train really shows them off. The Southwest Chief is a classic multi-day long-distance trip. You've got time to watch the desert roll by, eat in the dining car, hang out in the lounge, and really feel that I crossed half the country by rail energy. It's long enough to feel epic, but not so long that you start questioning your life choices. The Sunset Limited is the deep end of long distance from LA. You're on the train for a serious amount of time. You watch multiple states go by, and you get the full experience of eating, sleeping, waking, and repeating on board. It's amazing if you love the idea of being on a train for days. It's not as ideal if you're impatient or on a tight schedule. For onboard experience, if you want the most enjoyable time without overcommitting, I'd give the edge to the Coast Starlight and Southwest Chief. If you're a hardcore rail fan chasing maximum hours on rails, the Sunset Limited might be your holy grail. Round 3, Destination Payoff. Round 3, what do you get when you step off the train? The Coast Starlight takes you up through California and Oregon into the Pacific Northwest. Ending in a city like Seattle gives you a mix of waterfront, mountains, coffee, and culture, plus easy access to even more scenery if you keep going by ferry or car. The Southwest Chief ends in Chicago. That's skyscrapers, deep dish pizza, museums, the lakefront, and a massive rail hub that connects to almost every other long-distance route in the system. If you want your LA trip to be the start of something bigger, Chicago is an incredible payoff. The Sunset Limited rolls you into New Orleans. You step off into a city built on music, food, and history, and one that feels a world away from palm trees and LA freeways. If you're judging destinations by how different they are from where you started, this one scores very high. On destination alone, my personal winner is New Orleans. It's such a bold contrast to Los Angeles. But for bigger trip building, Chicago is outstanding. And for scenery plus city combo, the Pacific Northwest is incredibly satisfying. Round 4, time, budget, and practicality. Round 4, time, budget, and practicality out of LA. The Coast Starlight gives you flexibility. You can ride shorter sections or go all the way. And you don't have to disappear for half a week if you don't want to. It's easier to fit into a normal vacation window and to justify if you're watching your wallet. The Southwest Chief is a solid multi-day commitment. You'll need more time off, and you'll probably want to think carefully about whether you're riding in coach or a sleeper for comfort. It's a big trip, but very doable if you plan for it. The Sunset Limited is the most demanding. You're investing a lot of days and a lot of food, sleep, and daily life on board. If your time is limited, this route can be a hard sell unless the journey itself is the whole point. From a pure practicality standpoint, the Coast Starlight comes out on top, with the Southwest Chief in second for people who can spare a few extra days. Final round. Which LA train wins? So if I had to pick just one long-distance train out of Los Angeles for the average viewer, which one wins? If you want the best balance of scenery, comfort, and trip length, I think the Coast Starlight takes the crown. It gives you world-class views, a really pleasant onboard experience, and a fantastic set of destinations without requiring a full week of your life. If your dream is big sky desert and that I cross the country by train feeling, the Southwest Chief might be the one that blows you away. And if you're a true rail diehard who loves long hauls and dramatic contrasts, the Sunset Limited to New Orleans is the deep end option. Now it's your turn. Coast, desert, or deep south? Tell me in the comments which direction you'd point your next long-distance train from Los Angeles and why. If this helped you figure out which LA train is right for you, hit like, subscribe, and tell me what city you want me to do a showdown from next. I'm keen on the rails. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next train out of LA.